Good morning, boys and girls. Today is December 7th, 2020, and we are working on our first science experiment for our YouTube session. Today's experiment will be over water retention. Here we have our chart. We have our soil type, our color, texture, size of the particle, and water retention. What we are trying to figure out is which soil retained the most water and which soil retained the least water. First, students will cover the color of the soil type. Right here we have gravel, we have sand, we have clay, we have potting soil. First things first, the color. After we've identified the color, we're going to move to the texture. Once we've identified the texture, we're going to go to the size of the particle. And finally, water retention. How much water is actually retained? We have one group.
I'm a boy.
They're working. What is the color? Did you write down the color? What do you see?
I see gray and black. I see like a little brown one. And pink.
And pink? Okay.
And red.
Next group, what color did you identify?
Gray and brown. And white.
Brown, white. Okay.
No, brown and gray.
Brown and gray. Okay. I see a little bit of white on one side of the rock. My group. Hi. What color did you identify?
It's gray, brown, red, and some black.
Okay.
And some peachy-ish. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Can you explain that for me again, sir?
The particles for gravel are big, medium, and tiny.
Okay. So you identified the different sizes of the particles when it comes to the gravel.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Here we go. What have you worked on so far?
Well, we've done the particle size and the texture. We think the size of the particles are big and small, as you can see, and kind of medium in between. And then with the texture, some of them are rough, but then some of them, like this one, have like smooth sides and they're smooth around.
Okay, so some of them are smooth in texture?
Yes, and then some of them are rough in texture as well.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so students have identified the gravel. They identified the color of the gravel, the texture of the gravel, and the size of the particle. Up next is the water retention, which will be measured in milliliters. Okay, so for this portion, we're going to go over water retention. I have our friend, he has the water bottle. He's going to apply the water right here in our coffee filter, and we're going to see how much water the gravel actually retains.
Oh my god. This is so hard.
Keep squeezing, keep squeezing.
Squeeze.
And as you
Squeeze
can
it like
see,
it's your enemy's heart.
we have a flow of water.
Kind of making me want to pee.
All right, my friend, can you look at the measurement and see what did it stop on?
It stopped.
What did it stop on?
148 milliliters.
148 milliliters of water has been retained. All right, so we have our friend. She is going to apply the sand mixture into our coffee filter for our next viewing, for our next observation. Keep going. Now, clearly the sand has a different size particle, different texture as well. So the water retention may either go faster or slower. We have to wait and see. Okay, thank you, friend. I have a student with a brilliant observation. Can you explain to us, friend?
Even if we pour the exact same amount of water into each container, we won't get the same number because we have a huge container here, and over here we have a smaller container, so we won't get the same amount of water. So we won't get the same number for everything.
That is correct. The numbers will be a different reading. All right, so now our friend will apply the water into the graduated cylinder, and from there we're going to see how much sand actually retains the water. You may go. Five minutes later.
My hand.
All right, based on our observation right here, our friend, how much is that? All right, based on your observation, friend, how much do you see right here?
It is 20 milliliters.
Okay, she said roughly 20 milliliters. Good job. Okay, we have our friend. She is going to pour the water into the coffee filter. Now we are measuring potting soil. She's going to apply the water. Hold on to the filter. There we go. Thank you, friend. And that's enough. And we're going to check the reading in a few.
10 minutes later.
All right, so after looking at the measurements, friend, what did you come up with?
20 milliliters.
20 milliliters. We're going to record it. And once we finish recording, we're going to compare all of our measurements. Okay? Okay, after a successful experiment, we have came up with our conclusion. We have also came up with our measurements. I will ask one friend to volunteer and let me know what reading did you come up with. I am going to have a friend let me know what they got for their group. And the first question is, which soil retained the most water? And the second question, which soil retained the least amount of water? Okay, go.
So the most water that it
Retained?
retained was gravel, and then the least was potting soil.
All right. Thank you. All right, friends, so which one retained the most water?
The potting clay.
All right, potting soil. Which one retained the least amount of water? Least amount of water?
The gravel.
Gravel. Thank you. As you can see, this was our first experiment being recorded. We had a lot of funny moments. We had a lot of good moments. And we also had moments where we had to kind of figure some things out as we go. Right here we had a little mess, but hey, what's a little mess? That's okay. That's all about experimenting.
Yeah.
And our friend will close it out for us.
I hope you enjoyed our video. No.
All righty. Thank you.
Hope you liked our video.
Click to subscribe. Boom.
Bye.